Hey, what's going on, guys? So, in this video, it's going to be different than what I usually do. So, we're going to be talking about Tropical Cyclone Freddy, which is in the southern Indian Ocean, and it's moving its way westward towards the island of Madagascar. And I forgot what the other islands are to the east of it. I already forgot the names of them. But it's moving close to those islands as well, but it should move north of, I don't remember the name of the island, but it should move north of at least some of the islands. So it shouldn't be a direct tear on those islands, but you should still expect some rain. This is an image of the storm. This, if you want access to the website so you can look at the information yourself, you can go to dapia.top, and they have the Dapia team. If you need contact them for pictures, it's right down here. But the storm it's small. It's located 18 degrees north, around there. 16 to 18 degrees north, so it's around here. But the storm looks small, but it's very strong. The eye is not completely clear, but it's well defined. This is definitely, what I would say, a strong hurricane at the moment from what we're looking at. So, looking at where it is, it's probably going to scoot north of these islands, but you'll probably still get some impacts from it. If I turn over to Tropical Tidbits, I think it's this model. This is the H4 model. This is a model specifically built to forecast hurricanes, specifically. So this is at 12Z, the latest run of it. The 18Z hasn't come out yet, so I'm going to show you what I have, which is 5:50 p.m. Eastern United States time. So it's right here. I think since it's been a little bit of time, it's probably moved here. So this might be a little bit weak on the initialization of the storm strength right now. But right now the storm is at least, on the low end it will be at least a Cat 3. On the high end, which is more likely, the medium to high end is most likely a Cat 4 that's either maintaining or it's strengthening into a Category 5 hurricane, a low end. But that doesn't matter, as a high end Cat 4 and a low end Cat 5 basically have the same impacts. So over the next 24 hours, the storm's going to move westward and maintain its intensity. It looks like it might strengthen a little bit as it gets closer to these islands. So it's moved decently. So it's moved a good amount in 24 hours. So the storm's not moving slow. But rain's still going to be an issue. Sea surface temperatures, there's no issues with that. 26 degrees Celsius is the bare minimum for tropical cyclone development under normal conditions, not including if there's like an upper level trough that's over the area. So the storm is currently in 28 to 29 Celsius degree waters. So that would translate into roughly 82 to 84 degrees. Farther north, it's closer to 80 to 86 in the 30 degrees Celsius waters. The storm moves closer to land. It maintains intensity, weakens a little bit, but not substantially. So it gets down to 960. It goes up to 960. It moves north of these islands, but you'll probably still get rained. The wind, not strong winds like in the eye, but you still get like tropical storm force winds or gusty winds. You'll still get surges, like high waves, high swells. You still get bad stuff into water ice. I wouldn't say it would be extreme. Maybe for this island specifically, it might be a little bit worse because you're closer to the actual storm center itself. But if I switch over to precip here, you'll be in the thick of the rain band. So strongest of the rain will be to your north, but you'll still be in heavy rain. This island too, if I keep moving forward. Now probably not as much rain because you're not as close to the center, but you'll still get a decent amount of rain out of this. So as storm moves west, it will keep moving closer to Madagascar. it's the A-Dwarf parent model thinks it's going to weaken as it moves closer to Madagascar, but it will still be a very strong storm, most likely a Cat 3. Most likely, if this is to pan out, it will be a Cat 3. I don't see this being a Cat 2 at landfall. I see this being at least a Cat 3. And with the warm waters ahead of it, if it can at least maintain itself and not disintegrate as quickly, it can still maintain Category 4 status as it makes landfall in Madagascar. Because as it gets closer, it strengthens a little bit, and then it starts weakening once it gets land interaction. And then it will make landfall in Madagascar. So it looks like in the center, it's going to be dropping around, I think this is 12 inches of rain. So that's enough to cause flooding, especially if the storm slows down over land. So it looks like it drops in some of these yellow areas, drops at least 8 to 12 inches of rain. But for most people, it's not going to drop more than 8 inches. It looks like it's going to drop between at least 2 at the low end. But most likely, most people will get between 4 to 7 inches of rain, which, if it falls fast enough, will be an issue for flooding in this area. I also do believe that these guys previously just got rain, so this will add on to their issues if they already have flooding or high rivers at the moment. This is getting past 5 days, so this would make landfall 78 hours out, so Sunday, Monday. So this would make landfall around Tuesday, and then it will be over central Madagascar on Wednesday and move over the landmass. And once it gets into the Mozambique Channel, it could re-intensify more because the water there is warm, if I remember correctly. If I check this, yeah. The water here is warm enough for a tropical cyclone. It's not hot like this over here, but it's definitely enough to support re-strengthening. So as the storm moves over, it re-intensifies, more rain starts popping up, and it starts intensifying again. Gets back down. Well, it starts really intensifying, and then the model ends. Let me see if I can actually find winds on here. 850 millibars, it is strong up aloft. I'm just trying to find them. Oh, and so yeah, the wind field might be a little bit stronger than what it's saying here, but if I zoom in here to this area, I think I could request a sounding. If I zoom into this area, it's going to take a little bit of time. I think it's going to work. But there's hurricane force winds wrapping around the entire center as it moves into eastern Madagascar. It weakens down but drops heavy rain over the island. And then once it moves back over the water, it starts regaining strength before it moves towards Mozambique. Now this is one model. I could also do the regular A-Dwarf, which is a much more zoomed in picture. And this would bring at least tropical storm force winds to the northern part of this island. I don't know what this island's name is. Someone please tell me in the comment section. But there is hurricane force winds surrounding, and at least it looks to be pinkish colors. So this looks to be at least 110 knots. So I think that's at least, if I remember correctly, because 137 is Cat 5. I think this is at least 120 miles an hour. I have to do the conversions. But that will be moving through. And that will be moving through in about 39 hours. So this Northern Ireland will be impacted within the next 2 days. So I'd probably prepare for strong winds. Not extremely damaging winds, but I'd prepare for strong winds and some surge. Not the height of the surge because most of the storm is up here. But you are on this part of the storm where the storm's moving westward and the wind's blowing the same direction. So it would be a little bit faster on this side than it would be up here. And you get more water added up. So I just keep in mind about that. I think I can switch over to this guy now. This is the IR image of it. This credit to same website as this one, but I don't know how to really search weather websites because I'm not really too good at doing this. My first real time actually trying to make a video about this. But according to tweet Sally, according to Alan Snyder, he also has a weather channel of his own. So go check that out. He also makes videos on tropical cyclones and other weather. So I'll link his channel in the description and the tweet if you guys want to go follow him at Alan Severe on Twitter. So what he says is that Sally, something came up tonight and I won't be able to do a video post. But just look at this beautiful but now dangerous major cyclone Freddy. It has reached a Dvorak rating of 7.5. It is making a run a category 5 as we speak. I have a few more posts later on tonight. So the Dvorak score, I believe the higher it is, the stronger the storm usually is. So I forgot what the Dvorak score is, what it is for each single category, but I know 7.5 is pretty up there. So if I were to look at like Force 13's, graphics, they have the storm at least 140 miles an hour, which I believe because if you look at the structure, the eye is a little bit ragged. It's a little bit ragged. It's not completely clear, but there's a lot of minus 70s and getting towards minus 80s around the storm center. So it's definitely very strong and it can support itself. So if I were to look at like the GFS model and like look at Freddy, it does initialize the storm as it being weaker than it is right now. No, initialize 944, which is around correct. Then it makes it weaken a little bit, and then it re-strengthens, and then it starts weakening again because it goes through an issue. So, similar to IR radar, it will look like this on satellite. Now it looks like as it gets towards Madagascar, it starts disintegrating, but I don't know. But I don't believe this because the storm has been able to survive this long across most of the Indian Ocean. It's been able to make it from, where is the map? It's been able to make it from around here in the Indian Ocean, around here, and then it's been able to move this way, all the way to where it is right now. So you're gonna run out to GFS for at least the next 5 days. Starts moving closer to Madagascar. Weakens a bit. So weakens from where it is at a 961 to 980. But that's still a fairly strong storm, and it's been moving across this ocean for a long enough time. That's gonna bring a lot of storm surge with it because it's been moving across the ocean for so long, and because although it is a smaller storm, it should be expanding by the time it gets over here as it's weakening. Because usually when storms weaken, they tend to expand, and then it gets into the Mozambique Channel and starts re-intensifying after 4 days. So once it hits Madagascar, it's not over. Then it hits Mozambique, and then it will move on and dissipate over land. But it's still going to bring heavy rain to the people who live in those areas. Back on total accumulated precip. Like, it still brings a good amount of rain coming to Madagascar. It doesn't go all the way out. I think it makes landfall around 0.78 hours out. But yeah. It has enough warm water for its development. You can also check wind shear, I think. If I can actually find it. I think it's this one. Yeah. So right now, where it is, it's not really covered in too much shear. Like, yes, there is shear to the north of it, but this shear is from its outflow. The only real shear that would be a problem would be this shear down here. A little bit over itself from this influence, but most of the actual shear is to its south. So it's helping the storm ventilate. As it gets closer, there will be a little bit more shear, a little bit more outflow. This shear from this ridge, no, this trough here probably hurt the storm a bit, but I don't think it's going to weaken it too much before it hits land. We can also check another model as well. Like the Euro keeps it stronger. Like the GFS says it's going to be weaker. The Euro keeps it around 957 as it makes landfall. So I would at least expect, if you live in eastern Madagascar, to expect a major hurricane landfall within the next. This will be 66 hours out. Within the next 2 to 3 days. So you gotta prepare now for it. If you live in eastern Madagascar, from the wind and the waves. But that's not the only story. It's going to be dropping a lot of rain too. So once the storm starts weakening down the winds, the rain issue, it's not going to go away too quickly. And the storm surge is still going to be there. So depending on how high the storm surge is, with how much wind actually pushes on land, the amount of rain that falls, depending on how much it falls in different areas, that water is not going to have any real place to go. It's going to pile up. So it's going to be a lot of flood stories coming out of eastern Madagascar if there's news coverage of it. And then once the storm gets into the Mozambique Channel, the Euro doesn't think it intensifies that much. There's some shear that develops over it. It does get some outflow though, and does start re-intensifying. So that is something worth noting. Once the storm moves into the Mozambique Channel, the water is warm, but there might be some shear from these troughs down here. So overall, if I can actually pull up the current storm thing, overall it's a 950 storm right now. These will be the plots. So the storm is here for the GEFS. This will be the global ensemble forecasting system for the global forecasting system, which is an American model. This is on Tropical Tidbits, if you guys are wondering, made by the Mr. Levi Cowan, and this is the website. So if you guys ever want to find information on your local weather, you can always do this. So storm will will keep moving southwest over time, and then make landfall somewhere between eastern or southeastern Madagascar, and then move over Madagascar, drop a lot of rain on the eastern part, and then it will move over, re-enter the Mozambique Channel, and then it starts re-intensifying as it moves closer to Mozambique. And it looks like the area it's going to be moving into will be is the concave coastline. So when the storm's moving in here, the water is going to start piling up here. So the storm surge here might be comparable to what's in Madagascar, depending on how strong the storm is here. So the GFS verifies, and it's just strong here as it is here. Then there's going to be more storm surge in the Mozambique Channel because it's concave, and more water can actually be pushed in and can't get out. Unlike these two areas where the water pushes onto it, since it juts out into the ocean, it's not going to be as much surge. But yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this talk about the Tropical Cyclone Freddy. I hope to do more videos on this type of stuff to keep you guys informed of what's going to happen. This is also one of the models. So it's 150 nautical miles from Port Mafaroon, 95 from Port Louis. I have to find where that is. The storm is currently, I think it's up here. Significant wave heights at 47 feet, so waves will be a significant issue. It's moving southwest. So winds are at 110 knots. It's forecast to strengthen to 120 knots, according to the official forecast before landfall. No, not before landfall. It'll be 120 knots here, so they're anticipating it to strengthen more when it's north of Mauritius. But once it gets closer to Madagascar, it starts weakening down to 100 knot system. So still be a very strong system, but it won't be as strong as it was over here. But the wind field is big, so even though storm center is up here, Mauritius will still get tropical storm force winds. And then the storm will regenerate as it moves over into the Mozambique Channel. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll try to do more updates like this in the future for more types of storms, and I'll see you guys next time.